Hey everyone, Connor Vogt here, the Southwestern Kentucky Outreach Counselor for Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, or KIA. And today, we're going to be conducting a line-by-line walkthrough of the 2026-2027 free application for federal student aid, better known as the FAFSA. As some of you might already know, the FAFSA opened up a few days early this year, where it typically opens October 1st. Today's video should give you a better understanding of the form, the questions that are asked, and how to best respond to them. Now, for the purposes of today's video, we won't discuss financial aid programs as much, but I encourage you to check out our website, kia.com, to learn more. Now, without further ado, let's get the 2026-2027 FAFSA experience started. Now, before we get started, it's important that both you and a parent create an FSA ID, as this is what you're going to use to log in each year that you complete the FAFSA. Now, you're going to see a few options when you first log in, but if this is your first time filling this out, you'll want to select Start a 2026-2027 FAFSA form. Now, you're going to have some videos come up on your screen after this. They talk about what the FAFSA form is, who counts as a contributor, and what to expect both during and after completing the form. For the purposes of today's video, we're not going to watch these, but if you're interested, I encourage you to take the time to watch them before completing your FAFSA. Next, you're going to verify that all of your identity information is correct, such as your name, your date of birth, social security number, contact information, and your mailing address. If any of this needs to be updated, now's the time to do that. Next, you're going to verify your state of residence and the date you became a resident of that state. Typically, this is your date of birth, unless you moved there later on in life. Now, this next part is incredibly important. You are providing consent for federal student aid to obtain your tax information automatically from the IRS to help you complete the FAFSA form. Now, if you don't provide consent and approval, you will be ineligible for federal student aid, including grants and loans. You must provide consent and approval even if you did not file a U.S. federal tax return or any tax return. Once you provide consent, you'll watch in real time as they retrieve your data from the IRS. This next section is about personal circumstances. Now, this info can affect the types of federal student aid you're eligible to receive. First, they're going to ask about your current marital status. After that, they're going to want to know what your college grade level will be for the 26-27 school year, as well as if you'll have a bachelor's degree completed by then. This next part asks a few more personal circumstances. These include if a student is a veteran or active duty U.S. Armed Forces member, if the student has children of their own that they provide more than half of their support to, or if the student has been an orphan, emancipated, a ward of the court, or in the legal custody of someone other than their biological or adoptive parents. For today's purposes, we're going to assume that none of these apply. Next, it asks if at any time on or after July 1st, 2025, was the student unaccompanied and either homeless or self-supporting and at risk of homelessness. Today, we're going to put no. This next part asks if any unusual circumstances would prevent you from contacting your parents, or if contacting your parents would pose a risk to yourself. For today's purposes, we're going to go ahead and put no. By this point, the FAFSA is going to show you your dependency status. Here, we're put as a dependent student. The next question asks about direct unsubsidized loans and asks if the parents are refusing to put their information on here. This one's already marked no. However, if the answer is yes, please feel free to change that. Now we are on to the student demographics portion. In this portion, you will be asked to disclose your sex, race or ethnicity, citizenship status, as well as if a parent passed on or after September 11, 2001 as an active service member or first responder, if your parents attended college, and where you went to high school and what your high school completion status will be. Now it's time to talk about your finances. Now, this first portion is off of the 2024 tax return. For most of you seniors, you're going to put all zeros here as they're going to talk about IRA plans, college grants or scholarships, or benefits reported as income, and any foreign earned income exclusions that you may have. Now we're talking student assets. They're going to ask you about your current total of cash, savings, and checking accounts. They're also going to ask about the net worth of investments, including real estate, and the net worth of any businesses or investment farms you may have. Now's the time to select the colleges and career schools you wish to submit your FAFSA to. I want you to keep in mind as you're doing this that you have the opportunity to send this to up to 20 different schools. For today's video purposes, I'm only going to select one school to submit this to. However, if at any point after you submit your FAFSA you wish to add or remove a school from your form, you can always log back in and do so. After you select your schools, you'll be asked one more time to verify that they're all added to your FAFSA before you can continue. And now we're going to invite your parent to be a contributor to your FAFSA. One of the biggest changes we've seen this year is no longer do you need to have the parent's full name, date of birth, social security number, and email to invite them to contribute to your FAFSA. You just need the email that's associated with their FSA ID. From here, they will get an email inviting them to contribute along with a unique code that they will input and link themselves to your FAFSA. At this point, you have the opportunity to review all of your responses and make sure that every bit of your information is accurate. If anything is incorrect, now's the time to fix that. Once you've verified all your information, now you're going to sign and complete your section of the FAFSA. Now that your portion's completed, we are almost done. The next step is to have your parent get into their email, open that invitation, and log in and complete their portion of your FAFSA. What we're looking at now is an email template of what your parents can expect to see when they're invited to contribute to your FAFSA form. If you'll notice right underneath of where it says accept invitation, there is going to be a unique code added to this email. That code is what your parents are going to use to log in and be linked to your FAFSA. And now your parents are going to log in using their FSA ID just like you did. But now comes the part where they put in that unique code that was given to them in that email. And next, there's some information on what it means for them to be a contributor and what all they will need to help you finish your FAFSA. After that, they're going to see those same videos you saw at the beginning of your part of the FAFSA. Again, I encourage you, if you're interested, to watch these in your own time. However, for the purposes of today's video, we're not going to go through all of these with you. And again, just like you did, your parents are going to verify that all of their information is accurate. If any of this stuff is incorrect, now is the time to go in and fix that. And just like you did, your parents are also going to have to provide consent to retrieve their tax information automatically from the IRS to help complete their section of the FAFSA. And again, if they do not provide consent, you will be ineligible for any grants or loans. This next portion is on to parent demographics. In this section, you'll be asked about the parent's current marital status and the parent's state of residence and the date that they became a legal resident of that state. Now let's talk about finances. First, you're asked to list any federal benefits received in 2024 or 2025, such as Earned Income Credit, SNAP benefits, WIC, or Medicaid. For today's purposes, I'm answering that none of these apply. Next asks if the parent's family size is different from the number of individuals claimed on their 2024 tax return. For today's purposes, I'm putting no. Now it asks how many people in the parent's family will be in college within the next school year. For today's purposes, I'm putting only one. And just like you were asked before, it's going to ask your parents about tax return information, including anything involving an IRA or other qualified plans, amount of college grants, scholarships, or benefits reported as income to the IRS, and any foreign earned income exclusions they may have. Now they're going to ask about annual child support received, for which I'm putting 0 today. Next, they'll ask about the current total of cash, savings, and checkings, the current net worth of investments, including real estate. Now, keep in mind that this does not include the home that the parent lives in. And then finally, they're going to ask about the current net worth of any businesses and investment farms your parents may have. Now, this FAFSA prototype shows a scenario where the tax filing status is married filing separate. Typically, if you're married filing joint, this is the part where you'll put in your spouse's information, and that's it. They will not be invited to contribute to this FAFSA. And now is your chance to review all of your responses to ensure of their accuracy. If anything's incorrect, now's the time to fix it. Once you've done so, you can go ahead and sign and complete your portion of this FAFSA. Congratulations! Your 2026-2027 free application for federal student aid is now finished. From here, the student should receive email confirmation within a few days that it's been processed. Remember that you can log in anytime at studentaid.gov to check on the status of your FAFSA and update information as needed. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out to your friends at Kia. No matter where you are in the Commonwealth, there's at least one outreach counselor in your area that's ready to serve you. Good luck. Now, let's get those FAFSAs filed.